Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. I basically today we are going to talk about basically one topic that is basically Formula Word basically. And in this basically we have already covered total I think five parts. And then basically here today basically we are going to discuss about Formula Part Six basically what actually Formula is and how basically Formula works in the project management life cycle and how basically that project management life cycle each and every projects basically is connected with this topic basically which I am going to discuss just now basically up to what level basically formula is connected one formula which when gets creates up to what deep basically it's connected with the set of parameters that you basically going to see today. So basically today basically we are going to see few topics basically which is going to directly going to connect with the formulas basically which basically are defined by the project management plan group basically. So first topic is basically if I say that our buildings basically which are standing in the straight position basically that basically it's standing with due to some power supply which is getting supplied to that near about the building basically. If I say that a set of power companies and set of energy companies basically are passing the power supply to that building so that the building can stand at the straight position basically. Otherwise basically there is no basically science logic also behind this. Basically the building is standing at the straight position basically. So basically here the topic is basically the power supply and the energy companies which they are passing the data basically, which type of data they are passing and the exact data and the exact formula they are passing to that particular each and every buildings basically, so that the buildings are getting uh, they are at the same standing position basically, you can say. It's a standing position. Standing position means basically straight position. The building is standing as a straight position, you can say. Tall person is standing, one tall person is walking basically, so he's that same way basically the building is standing basically at the straight position. So basically how the building is getting standing at the straight position basically, why the building is not getting left side right side, now why the building is not getting at the bottom side basically, what are the reasons basically. So the reasons are basically the set of formulas which are basically passed near the buildings and the inside the buildings basically, and due to that basically the buildings are standing at the straight position basically, you can say. So there are some set of formulas that are basically getting passed through energy and power companies, and that energy and power companies which data they are passing, the formulas which they are passing, that is directly connected to the project management plan basically. Project management plans each and every formulas basically that which we can say, that is EV, CPI, SPI, actual cost, what are the actual cost, how basically this gets calculated, each and everything basically are getting calculated on the base of this formula only. That is basically the building is standing in the straight position with the help of set of energies and power. That energy as our power basically are is equal to set of formulas basically. So that formula basically is connected with this project management plan formula basically. So just see basically up to what level the is going to formula word is going to connect. So the next is basically we can say power basically are getting passed to the building, right, basically. So with the help of power only the buildings are standing. On the base of power only, on the base of power energies are only the buildings are standing at the straight position. On the base of the power of data basically that power data is equal to set of formulas. On the base of that formulas only the buildings are standing at the same position basically, you can say. It's like that basically. So basically another is basically basically one city basically there are around basically assume 200 buildings basically, just assume basically it's minimum basically building. So 200 buildings are getting at the straight position and standing at the straight position basically on the base of set of formulas only. That is basically a power formula, you can say. So on the base of set of power formula, the buildings are standing at the straight position, right? So basically, that power formulas are created on the base of certain algorithm algorithm basically can contain the set of cities in basically one country. Basically, I assume there are 10 to 20 lakh buildings. So on the base of that 10 to 20 lakh buildings, this each and every city's energy and power companies are dividing the power data, so that the basically entire country basically can stand, buildings can stand at the straight position. And then basically you can say it's a power supply basically which is getting passed to the country, basically that also you can say basically. So for that basically countries governments are basically getting tax. So basically each and every building, each and every buildings, each and every rooms basically are paying tax for the this all the thing basically. That's why basically government is doing, the government is not telling that we are not doing anything freely. We are taking basically tax, we are taking the power supply data, and we are taking the electricity power bill basically. And on the payment of bill only we are giving the power supply to that buildings basically, because they are paying the money, because they are paying the tax money. That's why only their buildings are standing at the straight position basically. So this connects to the cities also basically, each and every cities and each and every countries basically. For example, in countries basically there are 20 lakh buildings, and the 20 lakh building is standing on the straight position, on the straight position due to the India country is paying the amount of the tax to the World Bank basically. So World Bank is telling that you are paying the tax amount, so basically that's why your buildings are standing at the straight position. That's why basically your each and every buildings are at the not moving left and right basically, because your country's government, that is basically central government, is paying the amount to the World Bank basically. That's why basically, and the each and every countries are listening to the World Bank also. That's why basically you are standing at the straight position. That's why your buildings are standing at the straight position basically. That also you can say. So basically each countries are paying the tax amount to the World Bank basically. And World Bank is telling that we have the control of each and every countries. That's why that's why basically each and every countries are listening us. That's why basically reason is basically they are paying the amount. Each and every countries are paying. So India is paying the amount to that. India is paying the tax amount to the World Bank basically, so that each and every buildings can be stand at the strain position basically. It's a straight position building basically, because if building is going to move left and right basically, then basically after a certain time basically the building will get fall, and basically lots of incidents can happen basically. So the basically World Bank says that you are paying the tax amount to the World Bank, and your government is paying the amount to the World Bank. That's why basically each and every buildings are standing at the straight position. So basically this is basically on the base of the power supply which the country is getting basically. So basically one country is getting power supply from the World Power Supply Bank basically. You can say that like that basically. And the World Power Supply Bank basically is telling that we are passing the power supply to the world, to the India country on the base of certain formulas basically. So that is also formula. So basically now the formula word is connected up to this level basically. So just see basically. So basically this is about formula part 6 basically. And in next formula we are going to take something more about formula.